So I guess most of you have finished your lunch already, right? Actually, I love Cosplay a lot because you can find a lot of good stuff here. Just a minute, let me adjust my mic. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about an introduction to reverse engineering via Flash game. So the talk was written by me and my colleague Jackson. So you have seen Jackson today, right? If you don't know him, then you have missed a very good talk today. Okay, and for my introduction, so who am I? I'm a member of Black B68 and one of the founding member of UST Byron and member of UXRL, blah, blah, blah. You can visit it. And my colleagues over at the back, Jackson, or you can tell him, you can name him as Lo Diep. So, an advertisement. So actually on Saturday we are going to have CTF hosted by Black B6A or Black Bohemia. So you guys are welcome to join our CTF and have a taste of what CTF is. Yes, and yes, our teammates Black B6A is at the back of the side. So yes, see if I hope you enjoy the CTF game if you are going to join it on Saturday. So first of all, CTF, not CTF. Flash is a very, very old protocol, right? Very, very old stuff. At the very beginning, why I and my colleagues want to crack some Flash game is because we have a very good old game called 金融混合轉. So if you know what is 金融混合轉 in Flash, then you are probably very old, very senior, I would say. And there are some, yes, you see, when I go to Asia.com, Asia.com, you guys know what is Asia.com? No. Yes, some of you say no, some of you did. Actually, it's a website that is a compilation of all the old Flash games. And you see the advertisement here, right? If you know what is Asia.com, then you should be senior enough to have a CSSP suggested by the ads. Okay, so if you want to take a picture, it's a very, very old game. But I would say, hey, they got a lot of good games in the old days. It's Flash that, yes, it is. Why is that? It is that in 2020. It is that because it's not designed for security reasons. It's just like a media. So why am I going to crack a Flash? It's because Flash games have some very good properties or unique properties that other games don't have. It is very simple. Most of the Flash games in the web is just a few 10 to 20 megabytes. So you can finish the game. It's very simple. You can reverse all the stuff. You can finish the whole game in 2 hours or 3 hours. And because they are already old games, so they have a lot of game walkthroughs in the web available. So if you are not sure the steps you are doing it correct or not, or the data still have some mismatch, you can always go to the game walkthrough and see if you are in the right track. And what's more, Flash is using action scripts. So I will explain this part later, the action scripts. Most of the action scripts are written in plain text, which means you can just open it up and see the code. You don't have to do a lot of compilation. One more advertisement. We have a reverse workshop on Friday, hosted by Boris. Is Boris here? Yes, Boris is at the back. So I hope if you feel interested in game reversing, you are probably also interested in joining Boris' workshop tomorrow for C++ reverse. So for game reverse, general reverse engineering, you have some points you have to know. Static analysis, what is static analysis? So you are just dissecting the code, opening the code up. Try to understand what is the logic behind, just like you are doing a normal reverse, right? Code reading. But most of the time when you do static analysis, the source code is not provided directly. You have to review the source code in a special way. Like for C++, you have to decompile it. But for action scripts, it's good. You can just open it up. Let me ask, how many of you have experience in reverse engineering? I guess only a few, right? If you are not in the offensive field or CTF field, you probably don't need this kind of skills in your life. But yeah, if you know some of the concepts, you'll be likely to know why the others can hack the game, or why they can know something that I don't know. Like in the games like Pokemon TCG, why they know exactly which days they will release a new pack. They do it this way. And for dynamic analysis, it's a different story. Static analysis, you don't have to open the game. I mean, you don't have to execute the game. You just open it up, like a text file, right? But for dynamic analysis, you have to run it. For general side, you have to set them breakpoints and see how the address of variables changes during the execution. And one more thing, sometimes especially for game, if you do game reverse, you must have a same file somewhere, right? So how can we modify the files? And for reverse engineering, it may not be a save file, but sometimes the program will write some stuff in your storage. So how can we modify this part? How can we modify the config files? This kind of stuff. So it's very painful if you don't understand reverse engineering for basic knowledge. So reverse engineering have a very steep learning curve. So I hope in this 45 minutes, we'll try to do it as simple as possible. And actually, you can follow us. I've prepared some materials. Yes. In real life, what is LLVM? You have a lot of knowledge to know for like symbolic execution. I don't think a lot of people know symbolic execution, right? And hey, that's why learning reverse engineering is quite a torture. Okay, so the next step, what is SFF file? SFF file, you know Flash a lot, right? So the files that Flash will run is called SFF. So SFF have a file structure like this. You will see the header, and following the headers, it will be every text. And one plus sign is, if one tag is corrupted, the Flash player will know which is the next starting tag. So it will jump to another tag and try to continue the execution. So even one tag is corrupted, the file will be good to go. Yes, but SFF itself is actually a media file. Like if you go to the media player, it is just a compilation, a file that contains how the objects in the file moves. What is the starting location, how far it should move. So where's the logic handling part? So you will find that, hey, in the SFF header, there is nothing related on the logic part. And by reviewing its manual, you will see that starting from SFF version 9, there is a tag called dual ABC. So the dual ABC tag allows ActionScript 3.0, which is the AS3, to run. So if you want to dissect the game, see its game logic, how each button is correlated with each other, you will probably to find out all the logics in the dual ABC tag. For the Flash player, actually the Flash player itself, as I've just mentioned before, is a media file. So for the logic part, how it's going to execute it? In Flash player 9, starting from 9, there is an AVM. So what AVM is? ActionScript VM. It's a runtime for you to, which allows the dual ABC text logics to be executed. And if you want to know more about the SFF subs, you can go to the standard part. And how SF, as I mentioned, SFF file itself contains the ActionScript logic, which is called as .abc, but in real life you won't see this part. So ABC parser, and for interpret language, which is you can open it up directly. It is not compiled. In this part, we'll put it in a JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. It is translated into bytecode while the execution, while the file is running. So you already know the basic structure of AVM. So you should probably write your own interpreter now. It's that easy, right? So I'm just here. One more thing for the SFF file. SFF file is handling every stuff in frames. So you can see that when you open it up through some weird tools or special tools, you can see that every frame is extracted, can be extracted one by one. So for the game, it is adding the logics in every frame, just like a PowerPoint, if you want to. Okay, so I've mentioned it. Actually, this is the game that we want to reverse. It's called 金融混合傳, and probably there are some guys don't know Chinese, so I made a translation, Heroes of Jingyong 2. But if you try to find these words in the web, you probably don't find it. You should try to find the Chinese words. Okay. And why we are going to hack this game? That's because one, we are very familiar with it. Second, there are some you are not intended to have all the abilities and items throughout the single game. There are some abilities, which is we call the attack movements, will contradict with each other. Like if you learned move A, you can't learn move B. Then how can we have a single save that learn all the stuff? This is the achievement that we want to make, instead of just finish the game or finish the boss. So in this game, we have just a minute. Before I go to the introduction, you can scan the QR code if you want. The QR code is the content of the game and the tools we have. So if you're interested, you can go back home and try to play with it. But if you have a computer today, you can join the slides, join us, and have the slides walk through. Okay, so I guess all of you, if you're interested, you have scanned it already, right? Good. Then we have an introduction of the game interface first. So for every game, you have to create a player, a character. So there are different abilities that the gamer will have, or the player will have. And all these numbers are randomized. And I name it as the initialization part. How the abilities, how you initiate the character and how its ability is. And at the attribute points. So once you start the game, you enter the game, you can see that how your characters look like, how your characters have the attribute points. For example, in this case, we will see that, hey, Yu means that you are better at using the sword. Okay? And like Kun Zhang, which is you are probably better at hitting others using your fist. Okay. And there are some attack moves that you can learn, but at the very first of the game, you don't have any moves. And exotic items, which is like helping you to increase your abilities and equipment. I will skip this part. So once you have familiarized yourself with the game and the basic interface, we can start to dissect it. So what is static analysis? Let me go a bit deeper. So static analysis examines the game program's code or binary without executing it, just like opening it up. Okay. So our aim is to understand the software's structure, logic, and the potential behavior, like how your characters will behave and how the event occurs. Or every function, how the functions should be called. So we have three techniques here. The first technique is we can disassemble, for assembly code. This is like the C++ or compiled language. So you have to disassemble the binaries into assembly code first. Or not? I shouldn't put it this way. Let me see how should I mention it? Okay. I should put it this way. Assembly code is the language that you are already trying to execute, right? It's the basic structure of a program. So you are trying to disassemble the binaries. And then we do decompilation. Decompilation, like either pro in your real life, you are trying to translate the assembly language, assembly code into something you can read, the high-level language or pseudo C code. And then by analyzing the pseudo C code, you can analyze the control flow, data flow, and dependencies. This is a basic understanding of how to compile the language and interpret language. So interpret language is something like, hey, you don't have to compile it. You want to type like Python. What you type, you can be executed directly. So for this one, we have just-in-time engine in the virtual machine here. And for compiled language like C++, you don't have a runtime. You can just compile machine code and it is ready to run. So which one is easier to read? Must be interpret language, right? You don't have a step of compilation, translating into machine code directly. So you can, for interpret language, you can starting from, you don't have this part of compiling. Okay, so if you really want to try to open the files, this is how it looks like. So do you think anyone will know how to read this? You know. Yeah, because there are some words, right? Some readable characters. But actually, it is very hard for normal humans to read. So that's why Notepad++ or using Notepad is not the proper way to open some executables. So how can you read it? And for reading it, we will have to understand how the file, SWF file is passed. Although we know it is already an interpret language, it is in plain text, but without the parser, we are not sure how every variables or which tag is it. So I have found that the official document does not have any parser. I mean, the GitHub does not have an official parser available. It just has a specification. So the parser here I provided is an unofficial implementation of it. But hey, what I'm trying to show is there are someone already write the parser. So how are we going to execute that, and how are we going to run the SWF file? You can still find some Flash Player available in web, although the official site is already done. But for me, I will use this one, Flash Player 32SA. And you have the runtime with it. So how can we do the static analysis? We will, I and my colleagues use this one, JPEX compiler. This is a good compiler. You can use this for nearly every Flash you have. Okay. So if you wonder how this game is played, or you have no idea what this game is going. Actually, because before I come here to deliver this talk, I've tried to walk through this whole part, how the Java reverse with some secondary school students, but they don't know how to go out from Sun Xiaoxun. So that's why it may be a bit hard to know what this game is going on. So you may have to take a look at the walkthrough before you play. Okay. This is a JPEG decompiler. So you see that, hey, we have some different sections here. This is the SWF. You can play with it if you have the runtime. And here, this part. This part is the structure, like a tree structure, right? We can open any artifacts in it, like how the logics. They have many medias in it. So we have the runtime now. We have the tools to build the source code. What is the next step? The next step is, hey, what does this code mean? What does this code mean? Okay. Sometimes for the real life cases, they will try to obfuscate the code, so you cannot get the meaning of the code directly. Okay. First of all, we know the relationship, and second, how the attributes affect the game. So, hey, you can see the initialization part, right? There are a lot of numbers here. How each number is affected and how they are affecting like the defense or the attack move. How they are related. And what's more, there are some special skills in the game that you probably need a need of skills or a bit of luck to get. Which part is this skills is given or available? So this is the game we want. This is the aim we want to have. Like you already know where is the boss, where is the item. Then you can just go to there directly and get the item. You don't have to deal with the boss. You don't have to fight the boss. Okay. So for the next afterwards, I'm going to talk about how this game I will figures and how this tool is used. So before we start, as I mentioned earlier, for the old games, you have a lot of walkthroughs, right? There is one walkthrough that's very important. This is how all the variables is stored. So with this list, I can directly go to the source code and Control F and search, do a direct search. Hey, what does like this one? Let me check. Oh yes, this one like NL. What is SF? S underscore M. What does this mean? This means your HP. How much HP you left? So I don't have to read every piece of source code and try to figure out all the relationship. I can just have a hack and try to get the value. And what's more? Actually, when we try to build this sort of compare our results with the walkthrough on the web, we found that there's something wrong actually, especially for the experience calculation part. So we're going to pick a attack move and try to understand with it. So if there are some guys who are playing with it, I don't think you are anyone who's playing with it. But it's a very short. But hey, if you want to go back home and try to do your own analysis, you can follow all the steps here. I think the steps are adequate to have a deep walkthrough. Okay. We choose 18th dragon something part, which is 红18in Chinese. Why we are choosing these skills is because the calculation of this part is this attack move have a very special move, or how should I say? Okay, let me put it this way. In every game, there is a number that determines your cleverness or your character, like how fast you can learn the move, right? And how special is this? It is the more stupid you are, the faster you can learn this move. Okay, so we're trying to dissect, hey, how this calculation is made. Where is the calculation? Can we change it? Okay. So for the game, there is two variables that will affect your attack. How should I say? For every attack move, there are two variables related with it. One is the level. Oh, if you know pinyin, then you know there is 祥龙, right? Oh, so this makes it much easier to dissect the game. The level and experience. This is what every game has, right? How you master the skills, how well you master the skills. Okay. And when we find it, the max level of one move is 10. And experience is how often you use these skills. And because we are too lazy, I don't put the formula here. You have to find it your own. But yes, the most like your cleverness is below 50, you will have a boost in the experience. Okay. So how do we know this? Where is this game? Where is this move? In frame 55, initialization part. This is where you create your character. In frame 55, you will see this screen. Okay. When I press this button, this logic is run once again. So at first, they will disable all your skills. You don't have any attack move available. And you will also see, actually I can, they will also determine all your attribute points. And when you go deeper in frame 55, we will also see that there are some very weird and variables. But actually, we have the hack already, so we know what it is. But in your real case, if you try to dissect the game that you have never met, then these variables seems like aliens to you. You have no idea to know what is this, unless you try to examine all the stuff or do dynamic analysis. So how can we deal with the unknown variables? The best is read the manual, right? There are some guys prepared all the stuff for you, then you can read it directly. You don't have to do it yourself. But if you are that unlucky, you have to do it yourself. How can we do it? First, we do static analysis. We try to find out all the possible code that you have and how these variables are affecting each other, which is torture, right? Because you have to do it bit by bit. You have to read every source code. And do we have a hack? Yes, we can have a hack. We can use dynamic analysis. We can lock your scope to just one variable and observe how this variable changes throughout the game or throughout the execution. This is what we do called dynamic analysis, like setting breakpoints, that kind of stuff. And speaking of game hacking, so you already know that, hey, this is the initialization part, right? How can I make the game easier? I can recompile the FFF game so that I can have all the skills max when the game starts. Or we can do variable changes during the execution. And of course, we have the hack, we have the cheat sheet, right? Then we can just refer to the cheat sheet. I don't have to do any more steps. Okay. So during the initialization part, you can see that there are every game move here, right? So what I'm targeting is I forgot the name. I really forgot the name. The 18 dragon subs parts. Then I will try to lock it. I will try to put my sight here. The experience channel and level channel. And for very deep search, I can find that, hey, there is a frame in frame 10,050, 557. I can find that, hey, they are changing the level of this move from 0 to 1. What does it mean? It means that these skills is available. You can play with these skills. You can use these skills. And once this move is initialized or given to player, they will reset the experience to 0. Okay. So what does that mean? For static analysis, you can just view the source code, right? You can't make any change throughout the game. So this will help us for the execution. I already know this frame, or I will already know the place where I will get the skills. So I can just play this game, jump to frame 557, and I can get the skills. Okay. So the more understanding you have, the quicker you can have full achievement of this game, which is like in PlayStation, right? The platinum achievement, right? Okay. So there is another part that I want to talk about. Oh, let me see if I'm going to have a good photo. Oh no. Oh yes. Okay. In this photo, it is from website, but it is an illustration of the game. So when you try to launch an attack move, you have to choose the attack move here, and there is a cooldown here. Okay. What does the cooldown mean? It means that you can't use your move very fast. Once you play the attack move, you have to wait. This is T Chao, means the CD, how much you have to wait. And it is like a 5 seconds cycle. Okay, the maximum is 5, should be 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 5 seconds. So there are some games that when the gorge reaches 2, you can play with it. There are some moves that you must have to wait for the gorge reach 4. So, and what does it mean? When this game is played, you will know that, hey, I have to wait a lot of time to launch this attack move. And the damage equation. What is the damage? Okay, so when you play the game, you probably don't not that aware of the attack it makes. But when some very hardcore players, I have to do exact calculation how much moves I have to play to finish the boss. Then you have to know this kind of formula. Okay, so I see that damage equals to this one, the basic damage, 155 at level 1, and plus random strength, the lethal strength, and the kunjang, which is punch, times the level. So you see that, hey, when you reach level 1, it is 150 basic damage, and with some plus ones. You can calculate this part. And when you go to level 2, it's 240 and times 2, which means your attack move is not increased in linear way. Is it in linear way? Is it in linear way? More than in linear way. Yes. So there are some exercise left for you. Most of the deals is much more powerful at level 10. Why is this? It's because the attack formula changes. So you can try to examine how it changes and why it is the most powerful at level 10. And what's more, are there any limitations of the attributes, like is it capped to 100 or is it capped at 300? You can try to analyze the code and see it. And what's the hint is, most of the attributes are capped at 100, but some of them are capped at 300. By doing code analysis, you can try to deal with it, you can play with it. But I remember that you can actually do some hack. It is not limited at 300, although there is a logic that will revert your attribute points to 300. But what I said before is the SFP file is stored in they define a variable as like uint4. So actually, the int4 should be the limit of the attribute. So the second part is, there are some special moves and we want to learn. So how special are they? There are some of these moves are dependent on each other. Some of them we need to have some luck to play with it. Like you're trying to do a 1d3. And some of the skills are mutually exclusive. So basically you can choose only one in 2 of them. Like this one. Let me put it in the Chinese way. It is called 北冥神功 and 北冥宗法. 北冥宗法 is a very strong move, which requires some luck to learn. What the luck means is they will try to roll a random number, 0, 1, 2, and only you have 2, or I forgot, or only you have 0, then you can get the skills. We can show the examples later. And so if you don't know about this part, you can't understand why others, when in the walkthrough, they will tell you, hey, before you get here, before you get this move, you probably want to save your file first. Otherwise, you can't go back. Yes, this is what we call save roll file. If you enjoy the game a lot. And the 北冥神功, what the 北冥神功is, there is a very unique move called 北冥神功when only if your 北冥宗法 reach level 5. So we are trying to examine this one. Why we are going to examine this part is because this is the only one move that requires random number. Yes. And when we go to the walkthrough, I expect you know Chinese, right? Do I need to? You have to. Actually, I don't know the English. You have to count 100次, clicking the mouse 100 times, and then you can get it by chance. So it's very ridiculous. So you can see that continue, right? 如果退出唔到，有save 所以唔驚。That's why you have to do the save roll. And we can do code analysis, like once again, to make sure that how can we get it, or how this random logic is made. Okay. So as I mentioned before, 北冥神功 and 北冥宗法. So we can one is 秘籍, what is escort technique, one is the attack move. So we can see that, hey, we have a mechanism file, which is a different category, not a category. But the experience of this one, the level of this one, you know that this is a attack move. Okay. This is called bug mechanism file. And bug mechanism file, as I mentioned before, you have to go to level 5, reach level 5 to master this move. Okay. So this is the logic, right? When you learn A60 mean học giả點, when you learn this move more than 5 times, learn these skills more than 5 times. I should put it this way. When you have 5 master points of this escort techniques, you will turn it into attack move. Okay. Okay, and you can see here, right? Okay. When you are going to the game, you have to click 100 times for the mouse. Okay. You will see that here is this random string equals 0. What does it mean? You are trying to do a random move and throw a dice and see the random number 0, 1, 2, right? So there is 60%, 66%, a 2/3 of the chance that you can get the skills, but 1/3 of the chance you will lose. That's why you have to do the safe roll. Okay, this is all by chance. And there is one more criteria. If you haven't learned this move, then this move will be learned. Otherwise, you're just like a normal way. So this is different. Fail or success just depend on luck. This is the success part. You can see, right? You can learn these skills, learn this escort technique, and learn this attack move. And if you fail, it is frame what? I forgot. 2478. And when you play it, it will go to 2480. This is what is the loss. The screen of you don't learn the skills. So it is nightmare because it has a very high chance to loss. I have to high chance means 60%, 30% to loss. So that's why I have to remember that I have to make a save whenever I enter this scene. Otherwise, I have to replay the game from the start, from the very beginning, which is very torture, especially when you don't have any skills in safe editing and dynamic analysis. Very torture. Yes, when I was more like when I was a primary school student, I was playing this one. So probably you know how old am I, right? Okay, and I've talked about one very special move, and here's the turn. There is some more escort techniques, like draw before. Dual hand combating. Dual hand combating is a very special move of this game. The speciality of it is you can make 2 attack moves at the same time, which is doubling your attack points. Okay, and where it is and how it affects the game, and how the cleverness affects the speed of mastering one attack move. Okay. Okay, the last part we have is the dynamic analysis. Probably I'm not going to talk about the safe editing today, because I will be here on both Friday and Saturday. So if you want to play with it and have questions, you can come to me and I will explain to you. If I know how to help. Okay, dynamic analysis. It involves examining a program while it is running to observe its behavior. So in real life, we will set breakpoints. We will observe how functions is executed. We will have flowcharts and try to make some weird condition and try to see, hey, I should be executed in path A. How can I make the program execute in path B? Like this kind of, this kind of stuff. So for dynamic analysis, we can know how the software interacts its environment and how the game behaves. How do we do it? We will do process memory scanning, we will do memory editing, we will do pointer scanning, we can do code injection if you know how to change the code in real time. Which boils down to, what is this? Cheat engine. Cheat engine is a very good tool. It allows you to hook your game and find which variable belongs to which address, which is the pointer. And you can change the value of that address. I should be put it this way. Change the value of the variable which belongs to that address. And you will probably see it is a malware, but actually it's not. But cheat engine is doing very low level stuff that it may be flagged by your antivirus. And another point is it has a lot of not malware but advertisement bounce with this software. That's why it can be flagged. Wait, actually I'm not going to talk about cheat engine today. But as a POC, I'm going to say that, hey, I'm trying to find out which variables, the variables like the life, your HP, where does it belong to? Which address is it in? Okay, so what I do is, for the first part, I have to, before I'm being attacked, my HP was 67. Okay, so I pick a brick, 67. And then there should be a lot of variables here. And then I can make a second check. My life decreased to 34 now. So I can make a second check, 34. So I found that, hey, address 19XBA, blah, blah, blah. It belongs, which represents your life. If I found a way to lock my HP, lock this value here, which is this address, then I can have infinite HP, right? Yes. But cheat engine have this is not the fault of cheat engine, but if you close this game and execute it once again, your address changes. Do you know why? This is an exercise left for you. you probably know that, hey, the address has changed because of the protection mechanism. The OS don't want you to know the exact location every time when the game starts. That's why it will have some randomization on it. So that's why when you kill the game, start it once again, you hook it, it's changed. So it is dynamic, it is not static. Okay. So for the game that's I want to taught some junior or taught some secondary school students, I have to find a way that make things more easy. Okay? So I choose this one. I have make a lot of Google. And I find that the Flash Game Master 3.3. Flash Game software 遊戲大師, which is a continued project. Okay, but there has a lot of advantages, which is portable. It does not trigger antivirus. It's a built-in runtime. So whenever I do some search, it is static. I don't have to make a way to lock the address. Okay? And if you already know cheat engine, then it will be even easier for you to learn this one. Okay. I found this. I've overrun a bit, so I will be quick. Okay. So how I do the search? Open the panel, and then you can. Hey, my life now is AX29, so I can try to find records. Hey, AX29, and I can log it to 999. Okay, which is so you know that when they provide you. I should put it this way. This is how we can change the variable, change the memory, okay? And lock some values. And then I can, hey, whenever they attack me, my points does not, my MP does not change, my HP does not change. And for the following is just other techniques to do some search. Like, hey, if I already know the variable name of it, then I can put a name column, and then I can do some direct search. And the frame jumping is the most exciting part, I would say. Because frame jumping, as I mentioned before, Flash game is just like PowerPoint. So if I can jump to that corresponding frame, I can execute the logic of that frame directly. So I don't have to play the game. I can just jump, and then I can jump back to frame 56 and then start the whole game. Then I can have all the skills, all the moves, being just like a boss, right? And finish the game. And like, hey, I already know that frame 628 is for dual hand combat. Why I know? Because you will do the static analysis. So I'm not going to demonstrate here. And before and after, you can see, hey, my attack doubled. Nearly. Okay. So how can we do the special trick? So sometimes you won't, for reverse engineering, you may not do reverse engineering fully. You may have to do static and dynamic analysis at the same time, so that to smoothen your reverse process. Okay. Second thing, blah, 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 you can just put the save file here, and then you can edit it. Okay. So it is the easiest part, so I'm not going to talk about it. So, so I hope that you have learned something today from JavaScript, not JavaScript, from Flash reverse engineering, from Flash engineering. And if you already know, hey, static analysis will have changed, you can examine the code. Dynamic analysis, hey, I can do, based on my static analysis finding, I can change the variable real time during the game. Then I hope you can be more interested in the world of reverse engineering. And if you are interested with it, please attend Boris' talk tomorrow, which is PM section, right? PM section, yes. So it will be a good talk for C++ reverse engineering. X68.
Also Lean.
Yeah, also Lean. But Lean is hard. No, I don't know Lean. I'm better at X68.
Easier than Rust.
Just easier than Rust. Okay. So thank you for listening. And one more, just a minute. Let me make an announcement. So our CTF team has some newsletter for you. So if you, yes, at the back, like this one. So if you are interested in our CTF team, you can probably take one, and you can approach us at the team at the back to know more about CTF. Okay.